Okay, well, we have with us this morning, what are you now? You got a promotion.
Yes, ma'am, I did. I'm lieutenant now.
Lieutenant.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you, I
Congratulations.
appreciate that.
Yes, Lieutenant Tender. Got to get used to saying that.
Yes.
So anyway, welcome
LT.
this morning.
Thank you.
And we have JP with us this morning. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Edgecombe County this morning and some of the cases. So tell us, so we paid out some money, I believe, with Team Cold Case.
Yes, ma'am, you did.
Tell us about that.
We had a homicide Christmas evening. Subject by the name of Orlando McNair killed Ron Winder in his house. We worked that case for 2 weeks straight. We know who did it pretty much right away, and we started looking for him. I reached out to Team Cold Case, and they offered a reward. Within 2 days of the reward being offered, we started getting phone calls, and that led to the direct arrest of Orlando McNair. So the sheriff wants to thank everybody and the citizens for calling in and helping us solve that.
Yes, it's always so good. We preach this and preach this, don't we, JP? If you know something, say something.
Yes.
It was anonymous for that person. I don't know who it was, your informant was. I have no idea. You don't.
That's right.
Right.
We don't know. We won't know.
And it shows yet again the public can solve these crimes. They know who's perpetrating them. Somebody somewhere knows who's doing this crime.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. We do this all the time. But, you know, so I'm so happy. So from the get-go, you knew who did it because I think, you know.
There was never a doubt who did it.
There was never a doubt who did it.
There was
But
just a...
you had to
How to
find
find
that
him.
person. You had to find the person.
Yes.
And a tip was called in, and you immediately.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to be on the show the Thursday in January.
I remember that.
The reason I wasn't here is because we had spent the last 3 nights looking for him.
Right.
We were out 7, 8, 9 hours. My detective division, they all stepped up. Every single detective was out with me. We, I can't do it by myself. I have to have a team, and my team
Sure.
does a great job of helping.
That's good.
Great. Well, we're glad that was solved and someone's off the street and closure for another family.
Yes,
So that's always good.
that's the biggest thing is the family. They're reaching out to us every day. Do you have an update? Do you have him in custody? Do you know where he's at? And, sometimes it's hard when you don't know where they're at and you have no information.
Right.
And that's why the citizens, when they step up and reach out to us, we can't solve and catch these guys on our own. That's what helps us, is the citizens.
That's right. That's exactly right. So, well, I feel like it's our duty, if we know something, to say something. I mean, I really do. So, if you know something, as you heard Lieutenant Tender say, please say something. So,
Yes.
All right, let's move on. Some more Edgecombe County cases.
We still are actively working Harold Gamble. He was killed last year in June, May or June, I'm not sure the exact date. We're still actively working that case. We, just because these cases are a year old, 2 years old, doesn't mean we are not working them. We still work them. We still need tips. And once again, I know it's cliche, but if you know something, say something. If you have any idea who did this, or you can give us any information that might help us lead to the arrest, Team Cold Case, once again, there is reward money out there, and I can tell you firsthand knowledge that they do pay, and pay quick.
right.
So
We pay quick, and I think we pay cash.
yes, it's
Cash in hand, folks.
I give the money right to whoever makes the phone call. I don't even want to know your name. I can put you down as a number. That's all that has to be done.
Money's always a great incentive,
Yes.
especially with $4 or $5 gas coming.
Right. Well, now the gas prices are up.
Yeah.
A $3,000 reward might be a little helpful.
Yeah.
Right. So, Harold Gamble, can you just give us the location in case it might hit somebody, hey, I was around that area that day?
It's called Jabaz Court. It's right off of Kingsborough Road near the industrial center where QVC was. It's right off of Kingsborough Road. It's a small little road, but if you were in the Kingsborough Road Antioch Road area, that's where it happened at. If you
Okay.
saw anything suspicious around that time, please don't call. Please call. Don't be afraid to call.
Do you remember when it was? I know you have a lot of cases about when it was. Was it in? Well, that's fine. We'll
I
look
think it was
it up.
in June, the beginning of June. I don't
Okay.
remember off the top of my head.
June 21, I believe.
Yes, it
June
was June 21.
June 21. Okay, so somewhere around that vicinity. Okay, next case.
The next one is the one in Pine Tops where we had Montreal Wilson and Devonte Burton. That was a double homicide we had that occurred on June 20th of 2020. That's another case that we're still actively working, but the tips are few and far between. There was several people out there that night. Somebody saw something.
Yeah,
We just
because
need
that's
somebody
the
to
one
step
with
up.
everybody in the yard.
Yes,
Was
ma'am.
in the yard, and somebody knows something on that case.
Right.
I mean, I every time we talk about that, I say, gosh, somebody has to know something with all those people.
Yes.
So we hope that you will come forward. Okay, and then you've got Stephen Mcrae.
Steve Mcgregor, yes, he is
Mcrae.
Mcrae. He is still a missing person. This happened over 2 years ago. You know, at this point, I think many can deduce that he's no longer alive. I don't want to.
Probably.
I don't have any evidence of that, but I don't have any evidence that can produce him to be alive.
Right.
We've worked this case. I can't even tell you how many hours. We spent hundreds of man hours searching the whole area where he lived on four-wheelers. We've had a helicopter out there to help us look. We want to find him.
Right. Absolutely. You want to find the body. You want to
Right.
find him, or you want to find the body. You know. Absolutely.
The biggest thing on all that is, you mentioned it at the beginning, closure for the family. I just want to reach out to let people know that if that was your family, you would want closure. So if you know something, tell us.
Absolutely.
The family needs closure just like you would if it was your family, because you would be the one calling our office every day. I want to know what's the update. I need to know an update. What are y'all doing on my case?
Right.
But if you know something and you're not saying anything, you're just
Part of it.
depriving that family of knowing what happened.
You really are. Now, that was the case where the daughter used his debit card.
Yes.
You know that for a
We know
fact
for a
that
fact she did that.
that she used his debit card. So you know what we have talked about. So
And not only did she use his debit card, just to get it straight, she used his debit card after he was reported missing.
well, we hope that case. I really want that case. I want all cases to be solved, but I really want that case to be solved, because if it leads back to, you know, and the lieutenant is not saying this, I am, but if the daughter happened to have done that in speculation, how can you do that to your own father? You know, I've been saying that, but anyway, enough of that. All right.
Another one we had was Joshua Lynch. That was January 11th of 2021. He was killed at the intersection of Fairview Road and Cokie Road. That's a that's a big intersection in Edgecombe County, and that's one of those things where there's vehicles riding around. I know it was at night. It happened around 10 o'clock in the evening. So there's still people that are riding around, and you might have seen the vehicle. You might have seen anything suspicious. Some people are just afraid to call us because they're like, oh, I'm just going to call them. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be stupid. Nothing is stupid. We will follow up on every lead that we receive, because one little piece of information could break the case wide open, and we could have a case and have it solved.
Right, right. Absolutely, absolutely. So, and I think you have another one. Don't you have another one? Maybe not.
We do is Mr. Redmon.
Oh yeah.
He was killed in Canada. I'm not sure the exact date. That's been several years ago now. We actually have a person of interest, but trying to get more information on that person of interest is hard, because once again, nobody wants to talk to us.
Right, exactly.
And
Yeah, and you've got to have witnesses. You've got to have cases. JP, and you know, we have talked about witnesses a lot in some cases in the last few weeks, where the witness just fell apart.
They
you
can
know, in
make
a
it or break
case.
it.
yes, and sometimes that happens. You'll get to trial and it just falls apart, and you're like, why are you just switching around on us like that?
Right. And one of them just said, dropped out. He said, I'm not going to testify. I'm not going to be a
Right.
witness.
And when that happens, it just,
Your whole case goes.
Game over.
and
You
once
know.
again, the family is re-victimized.
Right.
Because they're thinking they're going to get justice for their loved one, and they don't. It falls apart, and court cases fall apart, and then the family's like looking at us again. Why did y'all let that fall apart? When
Right.
it's not our fault. The victims or the family and people, the witnesses just refuse to cooperate at that point.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for that report.
Yes.
That was great. That's a great
It was
update.
very informative.
Yeah.
Hopefully we
yeah.
can get some of these solved and they won't be on cold case anymore. We can have them in the
You're
court
going to call
system.
us as soon as you get one solved so we
Always
can
do.
announce it on the K-Files, right?
Always do.
Yeah, people,
Always
you know,
keep
I
up.
have people, Lieutenant, that I talk to, you know, I'll run into people and they say, golly, I wish you could solve that one. Or, you know, when do you think they're going to solve that? They're all into this. They've got their own suspicions. You know, we hear these cases and we're trying to play cop. And, you know, people are into it.
Right.
Since we've started doing this show, you know. It's a, you know, so let us know as soon as you find out something.
I will.
We definitely like to bring it, we'd like to bring it to the K-Files and like to bring it to our viewers.
That's what I want to say. It might not look like we're doing anything on these cases, but we're not going to sit there and announce every time we find
That's
a
right.
lead.
Yes.
Because that would just
Yes.
that could hurt our case.
Counterproductive.
We got to keep it close to our chest.
Yes.
So you leak any information out there and you can mess up your whole case, and that's not what we want to do.
But we'll know when you solve it.
Yes, you will.
So, all right. Well, thank you for being
Yes,
with us,
ma'am.
and we
Thank you
look.
for having me. We
Let's
appreciate
see.
it.
Second week in the month. We look
Yes.
forward to having you next
I'll
month.
see y'all in April.
And
Yes.
congratulations again on the promotion.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. All right. We'll be right back.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
Okay, and welcome back. I always enjoy Lieutenant Tender coming in.
He's
Just
a great guy. I tell you, Clee and the citizens of Edgecombe County have a true asset with him.
Yes,
They
they
do.
do. They truly do. And I'm glad he got his promotion. I really am. Deserved it. Okay. We want to talk a little bit about now a case that you've heard about, you hear about a lot when Lieutenant Seifman comes in from Rocky Mount PD. Rafiq Safan Sammy. Sammy was killed at his store on the 1100 block of Old Wilson Road in Rocky Mount. He was leaving the store at 12:51 a.m. when he was killed in the parking lot. Rocky Mount Police Department states it was an attempted robbery. Sammy had a large amount of bills still in his pocket when police arrived, and I bet people know that that's probably a habit that he had. It was probably a habit that he had money on him, cash on him. He had 91 $1 bills, 18 $5 bills, 2 $20 bills, and 3 $50 bills. So they even broke the money down. But this used to be Sammy's Takeout. If y'all remember Sammy's Takeout, for years, I mean years, great hamburgers, hot dogs, you know, run by Sammy Evans and his wife, Pat. And the store's located right there in the Fork, if you know where. When you go over the railroad track, go down Cokie Road, you go over the railroad track, and right here, Old Wilson Road goes this way, Cokie Road. You know better than anybody.
yeah.
You know that whole area. But anyway, sitting right there.
Yeah, because
remember
when I was a
Sammy's
little
Takeout?
boy, it was called Sammy's, and
Yeah.
Proctor's, Mr. Jasper Proctor had a service station
He
there.
did. Jasper Proctor's service station was right across the street.
That's right. So I know exactly where it's at.
So that's where it is, folks. And if you know anything, 12:51 in the morning is kind of hard. You know, there's not a lot of people probably stirring around and cars on the road at 12:51. So, you know, sometimes it's probably extra hard to get suspects. I mean, leads is what I
And
mean.
you know, that neighborhood has changed so much over the past
It has.
30, 40 years. There's no telling what the crime rate is during this point in time. They probably sat up on him, got his routine down pat, and just lie in wait.
Yeah.
Most independent store owners, you know, they don't want to leave their money behind until the next morning when it's daylight. They want to get it
Right.
out and take it with them, and
That's right.
he was a target.
Yep, he was. And I think most of these, this is just my opinion, I think most of these robberies and murders that happen at these stores, I think they have been watched. It's not something where it's the first time the person has ever frequented the store. I think they've been watched. They know they learn the habits. They learn about, you know, how much money they think they have on them and all of that. I think that's what happens with these cases.
And most victims, they know the perpetrator
Yeah,
They do.
absolutely, absolutely. Probably somebody that come in the store
all the time. Yeah.
You know. So anyway, if you know anything about the Rafiq Sufan Sammy murder, please, if you saw anything on Old Wilson Road that night, 12:51, on 3/8/2011. 3/8/2011 is when this happened. If you know anything, I hope you will call the number on the screen, or you can call Crime Stoppers, 977-1111. And as to Lieutenant Tender's point, he said, I don't even want to know your name. He said, I just want to know your number. They give you a number, and they just bring you the money.
A stack of cash.
I mean, it's fine, because they have made their arrest. You have come through for them, and they will pay out. So they will pay you. So through our Teen Cold Case organization. So anyway, it's so easy, and it's the pot is up to $15,000. So please, if you know something, please call the number. Trying to see if we got enough time to do. There's a similar case at another store, JP, Abdul Karim Al-Warraq. This happened on May 19th, 2011. Very close
just a
in
few
time.
months, just a few months later.
Yeah, 2 months. Only 2 months difference. Makes you wonder. Officers said they got a call about a robbery and an unresponsive man inside Kareem's Food Mart store located at 2053 Raleigh Road in Rocky Mount just before 1 a.m.
The exact time of the other one.
Same time.
9 minutes difference.
You know, I've
That's
read
a
both
pattern.
of these before and never have I noticed this. Never have I really thought about it. Just before 1 a.m. A customer went into the store around 12:30 a.m. and when they left, they heard muffled gunshots. They still left the scene. Wait a minute. A customer went into the store around 12:30 a.m. When they left, they heard muffled gunshots. They still left the scene. Another customer, well, I don't think I'd stay around the scene. Would you?
No.
Another customer came around 12:50 a.m. and saw the lights on, and the door was still unlocked. When that customer came in, he did not see anyone. The customer looked behind the counter and saw a person laying on the floor having convulsions. The customer ran out and told the other two people with him what he saw. 911 was called. When EMS arrived, 47-year-old Abdul Karim Al-Warraq, deceased. The cash register drawer was open and all paper currency was missing. So the motive was robbery in that case.
Guarantee they're related.
Strikingly.
Guarantee it.
Yes, just so strikingly alike. If you know anything about that, and I'm trying to figure out the location, 2053 Raleigh Road. And
There's
as
two convenience stores there. You know, there was one that was kind of like a log cabin, long-looking store.
That's
and
right.
Then Mr. Holloman's old store itself
Right.
was like a cement block type structure.
Right.
But it has to be one of those two.
It does have to be one of those two. And this is located down by, if you remember Westgate Nursing Center, it's now Peacemakers, that long building. It's right there. I think they call it Ravenwood.
Okay.
Isn't it called Ravenwood Drive is right there. So, you know, it's a convenient mart there. I believe that is the store that this took place. But that's a shame. So somebody came into the store, a customer, and they left the store. When they left, they heard the gunshots. And another customer came and saw the lights on and went on in, and because the door was still unlocked, and he found, I guess, Mr. Alwarick having convulsions on the floor.
They found him on the floor at 12:50, and the other case was reported at 12:51.
That is eerie.
Yeah, that's
just very eerie. You know
Yes,
what?
it
You
is.
solved one of these, you probably solved two.
that's what I would bet on.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, well, with that, we're going to go get some weather. We'll be right back with you.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
Okay, welcome back. Well, 23 degrees Saturday
That's cold.
night. I can't believe it. You know, JP, people, if you feel led and you think this is a good thing, we do have to have fundraisers. If you feel led, please, you can donate to Team Cold Case. You can certainly write a check to Team Cold Case. It will definitely be a tax deduction for you. We are a nonprofit, so love to have it if you feel like you might want to do that. A lot of people are talking about the K-Files to me as I go out and about. So we are working hard to solve unsolved murders and crimes. So hopefully, and hopefully you'll participate in our fundraiser. We're having a fundraiser. We'll give you more details in April at Rocky Mount Mills. Similar to the one we had at Don Bullock Chevrolet that was very successful. Have some great items up for raffle, and we have Lieutenant Sherrod, who is great at collecting prizes and things like that. So he's already got some great prizes and things like that. So we'll be talking to you more about that as time goes on, but we hope you will participate in this because this is important, folks. It's just very important. So, okay, there's a case. This is also an Edgecombe County case that we didn't really mention when Lieutenant Tender was here, but this happened in Princeville, and you know, Princeville is small, so thank goodness we don't hear about a lot of crime in Princeville. But do want to talk about this case, July 9th, 2010. George Thomas Harrison, 77 years old, at the time, was found beaten in his home on Mutual Boulevard in Princeville and taken to a nearby hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. The suspect broke through a window in Harrison's home and attacked him around 6:05 a.m. He was found not too long after the attack and taken to Pitt Memorial Hospital, where he died at 10:30 a.m. He was found with 10 cents in his pocket. That's why I remember this case, because I remember it. 10 cents in his pocket, people. I mean, and he's dead. Terrible. And still wearing a watch and a ring. So, I mean, they didn't rob him.
Almost 80 years old, asleep in your bed.
Yeah. I mean, why? Authorities have not released if it was robbery, if robbery was the motive. They have not released it. So I will ask Lieutenant Tender about that case. We kind of overlooked that one this morning, but I will ask him, would they say, or have they determined yet if it was robbery, because that's interesting. So,
Princeville, I know it's in Edgecombe County. I typically worked Nash, Johnson, Wilson, back Wake. Princeville, do they have a police department? I know it's a town.
They do. They have talked about for years Tarboro, and Tarboro they mostly take care of it, because I think they only have like 2 officers.
Okay.
But so they get assistance immediately from Tarboro. But they do have a couple of, they do have a little police department. So, and it's very adjacent to Tarboro. I mean, you're in Princeville. When you leave Tarboro, you're in Princeville just like that, and you don't even realize it. I mean, that's how close they are.
And it's relatively a small town, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
On Main Street, if you leave Main Street and you go over that bridge, I don't even know how many residents, but it is not many. I heard back in the flood, because we worked in that area a lot, taking a lot of footage, and I heard how many residents were there, and less now since the flood. Some people left. So the oldest historic town in our country is what Princeville is. So anyway, we hope somebody will say something about that case of George Thomas Harrison. Mutual Boulevard is right there. It runs right through the center of Princeville. It's the main road almost. So.
You know, when you read that case, people who don't believe there's evil in the world, 80 years at home, 80 years old, asleep in your bed, in your house, that's evil. That's
you
evil.
died with 10 cents in your pocket. I mean, really, that cases like that, just senseless. But back to the convenient mart, JP and I were talking, they're so similar. Those 2 convenient marts are so similar.
Mm-hmm. They're basically identical.
Sammy's and then the one on Raleigh Road. I mean, the time is within minutes. It's almost like you said, sounds like somebody waited a couple of months and just said, okay, where can I? It
worked once.
Yeah.
Let's try it again.
Right, because no arrests were made.
It's just like anything else, why change up something that works for you?
Yeah, exactly. But I got news for you. Eventually.
There's somebody somewhere that knows.
Yeah, it is, and you're going to eventually get caught. Okay. So that was George Harrison. Thomas Harrison. Let's talk a little bit about, I want to go to just saw it earlier. It was a case on Sunset Avenue that I wanted to talk about, but I don't know where it's at right now. Should have kept my place. But folks, don't forget, you can certainly, let's talk about Shonda Stansberry. She was 12, 2006. This is a long case. But but I remember talking about this one time a long time ago. Approximately 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 24-year-old Shonda Renee Stansberry arrived at, remember this? We talked about it several times, at a Waffle House in Roanoke Rapids near Interstate 95 where her sister worked. Shonda appeared to have been beaten with bruises that covered her face and legs, and there was a swollen knot on her temple. Remember this, y'all? And then Shonda got a ride with a customer who was well known to her and taken to West Side Trailer Court in Roanoke Rapids, although she lived with friends. Shonda was dropped off, was never heard from again. Shonda's mother, Gloria, filed a missing person report on December 14, 2006. At approximately 10:15 a.m., she was concerned because Shonda would contact her on a daily basis. Another one of those cases where, you know, they talk to their loved one every day and, you know, did not talk to her that day. The same day her mother took out the missing person report, a woman contacted 911 at approximately 11:28 p.m. to report that she saw two men chasing a woman who had no clothes on and was screaming for help. The caller believed it was Shonda. She stated that she was being chased behind a convenience store near the woods off of Highway 158. Investigators eventually traced the call and located the witness a couple of days later. The witness advised detectives that she was familiar with Shonda and was certain it was her. Again, she advised that she had no clothes on, had blood dripping from her mouth, and she was screaming for help. The witness was scared to stop, so she waited until she got home to call police. The witness described the two men as black males. The first man was between the ages of 28 and 32 and stood approximately 5'8" in height, had large muscular arms and a stocky build, had a dark complexion. He was allegedly wearing denim jeans, a white t-shirt, and a baseball cap. It's likely that he may have been bald. The other man was described as having a light complexion, stood approximately 5'6" in height, had a medium build, and dreadlocks. He was said to be wearing Timberland boots, jeans with patches on them, and a light brown, oversized button-down shirt. Investigators questioned the convenience store employees, and they advised that they never heard anything, and they also investigated the area and found no prints. Disturbed brush, or evidence that Shonda was there. Wow.
That's a lot of detail for somebody that saw all this driving by.
Exactly.
Okay?
I mean, how do you, in driving by, you know all that?
But yet and still you didn't pull over to take the time to report that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's just...
Sorry, something here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. In January 2008, over a year after her disappearance, several people reported that they saw Shonda in Wilson. Some claimed to have confronted her, but Shonda never contacted her family as they had told her to do. Investigators searched in Wilson. So they still have not found her.
So you're a store clerk. There is a naked female being chased around the store. I'm going to argue you're going to see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would think.
The investigators responded and they walked around. They didn't see any evidence of anybody to have been chased or anything disturbed around the store, behind. Okay. You're driving by and you've got a photographic memory to the point that you recognize Timberland. There's too many oddities here that just don't. Oh, and by the way, the witness says, I knew her. I saw her, I knew her, I recognized, but I continued on home before I decided to call 911.
Right.
No.
Wouldn't you pull over and do it?
I'm telling you.
Yeah, you might be scared.
You'd have gone to the first spot you felt safe to report it.
Because, I mean, you're looking at a girl that has no clothes on, she's running, blood running out of her mouth, and you're not going to you're going to go on home?
Something
I mean,
here's odd.
that's just very odd. They need to really question that woman again.
That's exactly right.
They need to go back to her. That's what they need to do. And you know what? I bet they have.
I bet they have too.
I'll bet you they have. I'd like to know. I would like to know about that case, if they have. But we have talked about this case 2 or 3 times, and I keep saying it is solvable with the detail that was given. But how in the world do you ride by? If I rode by somebody, I don't think I could tell you what color pants, shirt,
Brand shoes that they were wearing?
shoes. I mean, that really doesn't make sense. You know, hat, muscular arms. How do you
It's
know?
fabricated.
How do you know it's muscular arms? I mean,
It's made up. And see, when you're fabricating, you can go into so much detail because it doesn't matter because you're fabricating it all.
Yeah. I wish we could solve this case. I really do, because it sounds like the poor girl just got beat. If that was the case.
If she was ever even at that store.
At the store.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So that leaves a lot hanging on that case.
And see, that's what is really bad for law enforcement, because they have to take this report. They have to record what this witness is saying, even though, in my personal opinion, this woman could have been filing this report just to throw off the investigation.
Absolutely. And you know they're thinking the same thing we are.
Oh, yes.
They're detectives. You know they are. So this is another case that's unsolved, people. Wish we could solve it. And I love it when we solve cases. I love it, well, when they solve cases. We don't solve cases, but we do put the information out. So, well, we've mentioned several cases to you today. Edgecombe County did their report today. So there's a lot to think about for a lot of people out there that know about these crimes. So there's your number on the screen. Please call the number. You can tell your friends that this show is on YouTube. They can find it there. They can find it again Friday night at 7 o'clock. And we play at other times in community slots. So it's not like, you know, they can't look at it and see what we're talking about and do something about it. If you know something, do something.
I tell you, you know, talking about fundraising, people who donated over the past year, if you've donated money, you solved that case in Edgecombe County.
That's
You
exactly
did.
right. Right.
You solved it.
You have been a very big part of solving. We have paid out 3 or 4 cases. And we said when we started this, if we can solve 1 case, we're happy. Well, it has surpassed what we hoped for, because you, the public, have come forth. So we hope you will come forth more with some of these cases. So thank you so much, the ones of you that have done that. Thank you so much for doing that. Okay, that's it for today. All right, enjoyed it, JP.
Thank you, Miss Angel, for having me.
And listen, you've got a class this Saturday. Is it closed up?
I've got a private class for a family this
Okay.
Saturday in Bailey, and I have a public class the 19th in Bailey.
Okay.
We do have a few more spots available. Again, fire rescue, first responders, law enforcement, $25 off. Come on down to Bailey. We'd love to have you.
Okay, and how can they get in touch with
They
you?
can call or text me at 919-369-0311.
If you want to take concealed carry, folks, I tell you what, we really need to have our concealed carry. I cannot say that enough. And we need to take it from a law enforcement person. I have said that too. So, and JP is retired North Carolina Highway Patrol. So, all right. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.